Welcome everybody to the Lifecast podcast. My goodness, it has been a while, so I'm gonna be very, very out of it. But, jeez, welcome to Lifecast. Welcome back. To my two listeners, one of them which is in this room.
Hi.
Ladies first.
I'm sorry.
Ladies first. Joya. Kayla, how you
doing? I'm good.
I get you two confused. It's a long
That's
story.
not a good thing because Joya's your girlfriend.
Joya listens to this, so she'll be texting me about this later.
Okay, yeah.
We have Kayla back on the podcast. Kayla,
Hi. I've been here like 5 times.
Probably. I haven't tallied it. After this episode, I'm gonna go tally it, and I'll mention it next time. But I think Kayla is the top podcast guest.
All that time?
Yeah,
okay.
I think you have the most shows.
And that's the funny part because you and I like hardly ever see each other out of that.
Nope. I use you for content and then put you in the ditch.
Thanks, Jonah.
And we have Johnny. This is his first time on the podcast. Johnny, how you doing today?
Hello there. I am doing pretty fantastic.
He's a Star Wars fan, can't you tell?
No, it's not obvious at all.
Yeah, we're talking about a variety of things. Star Wars is on that list because that's your area of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
But we always start off. We talk about the stuff we've been getting into, the stuff we've been dirtying our hands with, whether that be movies, video games, and/or board games. So Kayla just did a very weird thing to Johnny, and Kayla is dirtying her hands with Johnny, everybody. All right.
Gee, thanks,
These are viral moments that will get me canceled.
No, you gotta put on. You gotta do the other show.
What have you guys been up to in your lives, video game wise, movie wise, film wise, whatever you want to take this? Go.
Not much for me. I did start doing Overwatch a little bit recently. My own computer, though, does not have the power to run Overwatch at all. I game on a laptop, so I just go down and use the gaming guild computers when I want to play Overwatch.
Well, what's interesting is Overwatch is free now, right? Because they have Overwatch 2.
Yep.
Many games are kind of, I think, looking into this same, like, should we just make a second one? Rainbow Six Siege is throwing it around. I don't think they should do it. But it's worked for Overwatch, I think.
Yeah, I didn't notice any changes at all.
Have you enjoyed Overwatch so far?
Yeah, it's fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like playing when I can grab a couple random people and just game on the guild computers because that's a lot of fun.
Shooter games like that are not as fun by yourself.
No.
I am the type of whippersnapper to sometimes solo queue in Rainbow Six Siege. It's not as fun.
You used it again.
Yeah, the type of whippersnapper said that earlier today.
It's my new favorite phrase.
Yeah.
He's becoming an old fart again.
I'm an old fart. Get
Old
off my
soul.
lawn. Kayla, what
Yes.
have you been up to? What are you watching? You had Phineas and Ferb you sent me the other day.
Yes!
Which, we'll get there.
I'm so excited.
We'll get there.
I've actually been recently watching Wizards of Waverly Place, which is... I'm trying to catch up on all the Disney Channel shows that I missed in my growing up years. So, anything that I haven't seen yet, like Good Luck Charlie, I haven't seen all the episodes of. Wizards of Waverly Place, never seen. So, watching that for the first time.
So this is Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, Disney Plus. As your viewers will probably know, I'm a
Disney nerd.
Disney nerd, yes. Yes. But what else? I'm starting to get more into the gaming realm ever since joining the gaming guild. I've started doing a little bit of D&D, started doing, you showed me how to play Overwatch a little bit.
A little bit.
And then, what else? That's about it. I have this new card game called Wizard. We should play it sometime. I don't know if you've ever played Up and Down the River or where you have to take tricks or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that except you throw in wizards which trump and then jesters which are pretty much throwaway cards. So, it's a very fun game. So,
it is fun.
Nobody can trump. Trump is untrumpable. It's inevitable.
I saw one Ben Shapiro video.
You can't stop it. It's huge.
I saw one Ben Shapiro video on TikTok, and now half of my TikTok
The
TikTok algorithm is so interesting. This goes with any algorithm. you watch one video all the way through, it's like, oh, they liked that, so they send you more of it, and then you continue to watch more of it. So it's literally their own fault.
Hence why I see relationship videos.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I've been getting into a lot of things.
Yeah, what have you been getting into?
Gosh. So I'm still playing Elden Ring. I think I talked about this last time. I am to the 2 hardest bosses in the game. How familiar are you?
Not at all.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna use the bathroom.
Melina is considered the hardest boss of any Souls game ever. It's freaking terrible.
Oh wait, I think I know that one.
No.
Melina, and then the final boss, obviously, which has 2 phases. There is the main guy with like a sword or something, and he just like obliterates you. And then there's a fucking dragon. Both are terrible and very hard. So that's what I've been doing. I've gotten into Dark Souls 2, which is like very different from Dark Souls 3. Also been getting into a lot of Resident Evil franchise. I 100% completed Resident Evil 3 recently. I am now starting to play 2 as well. Gosh. I have Resident Evil 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think.
I've never really played that many horror games. Most of the time when it comes to horror games, I enjoy more watching people on YouTube, like in their reactions.
Yeah, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. I've been watching through Markiplier's playthroughs of the games. Because I've also been, when I'm like doing homework or stuff, I'll put like lore videos in the background. I did it for Five Nights at Freddy's, Elden Ring, Dark Souls. Like I've just been listening, and the Resident Evil franchise is really interesting, but also really complicated.
Oh yeah.
Because by the time you get to like 2010, which is like in game years, is like around the time of Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5, that's when shit hits the fan for that series. Stuff starts getting weird because you got like the T virus, the C virus, the N virus, and it's like all these different viruses created by these different biotechs, and I don't know, it mutates with like human genes. The whole point of like the T virus and the M virus is to create and enhance humanity, but all it does is create zombies and really freaking weird monsters. And so by the time you get to like 2010, by the time you get to Resident Evil Village, which is Resident Evil 8, that virus has started to mutate into humanity, so people are being born with that virus, which is causing them to have a whole ton of weird stuff. So
By that point, it's more like a mold than a virus.
Yes, exactly. It's really complicated. So the lore for that is just crazy. But Five Nights at Freddy's is worse. So.
Oh yeah, I find it interesting in video games when they like actually, I don't know what to call it, make an attempt at like sciencing some of their stuff with fake science, albeit, but making it sound like somewhat legit.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Yeah, Marvel does it. Resident Evil does it, and to a certain extent, Five Nights at Freddy's also watched the lore video. Really complicated, but it does it to a certain extent too, because it assumes that children's souls can possess robotics. So yeah, but I've been getting into that, and me and Joya will be playing through Stardew Valley. So I don't know if you two know. Do you know what Stardew Valley is?
I know what it is.
That'd be a good couple game. If you had a PC, you should play.
Really, do I look like I own a
game.
PC?
No, but okay, you could play it on a laptop.
You could play it on your Mac.
You could probably play it on your Mac. It's an adorable little game. For those who don't know, it's like a pixel-esque game.
It's farming.
It's farming, but it's also like you live in a town and you have to farm in the town. And yeah,
gotcha.
It's really cute. It's
like
gonna be really
fun.
fun.
One of those relaxation games.
Yes, it's like Minecraft but 2D, kind of.
So
that's the best way to describe it.
Why can't I think of the name of the game?
Minecraft.
No. Why am I blanking?
That's a callback for some people.
Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this? The literal 2D Minecraft that was around before Minecraft, I think.
Terraria?
Terraria, that's it.
Yeah, Terraria is very much 2D Minecraft as well.
More complex.
I need to play that with one of my friends. He's 100% completed the game, but it's so complicated.
That's
it's
an
so
impressive
complex.
feat. Oh yeah, it's very complex.
very complex.
I tried it like twice and barely got my toes dipped in before I was like, nah.
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, are you into 100% completing games?
Most of the time, yes. I'm actually working... I took a break because I had to finish last semester, and still haven't picked it up yet because I want to get a good start to this semester. But I'm almost up to date on the Mass Effect series. I'm playing 3, and I'm pretty close to the end from last I remember.
Nice.
It's a really fun game, and it's
I've heard
really
good things about it.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, most of the time you see those choice-based games, like Telltale games, and it's like, oh, your choices don't actually change that much, it seems like. Here
Right.
it can, in fact, change a lot of things, and it's noticeable. It's not like just, like, this one little detail that changes that you don't really notice unless you know what to look for. No, you see it. You see the changes.
Yeah, so moving on, let's move into a little news segment. Let's start with the not-so-great news. Justin Roiland, creator of Rick and Morty. I don't know exactly what he did, but Adult Swim is no longer talking to him.
Oh, boy.
Rick and Morty is still supposedly happening, but when he just rolling, it's bad allegations too. It's not like they're just disassociating for no reason. Some pretty nasty stuff going on apparently.
I heard it for like a second a while ago. Like it popped up briefly in my feed, but since I don't really watch Rick and Morty, none of it really shows up in my feed.
You should watch Rick and Morty.
Yeah, you guys have a plan to like marathon it with me at some point.
Yeah,
so.
Jonah, we need to do that.
Yeah, we should absolutely do that.
When we have time, which is never.
Yeah. Well, to sit down and binge something is, especially something like that, is a huge task. But
yes.
I think it's allegations. His wife is accusing him of stuff, and it's just not fun. But my point is, Adult Swim is said that Rick and Morty is going to continue.
Ooh.
But the problem is,
Oh.
Roiland is the voice actor for Rick. He's the voice actor for Morty. Two of the main characters, by the way.
The little title characters.
Yes.
Two of they are.
The title characters. He's the main writer. So
the show could be vastly different.
The show is going to either, one, be vastly different in a good way or vastly different in a bad way. So, just putting that out there. If you watch Siege videos, me and Ivan have already made jokes about Justin Roiland. So, more edgy content coming.
Do you know if this is like before they finished filming the newest season or no? Like, do they have to finish the
filming?
Whatever.
Yes,
animating,
animating, recording, whatever.
Yeah. Season 6 was not that long ago. So I know they were in the writing process for it. Yeah, they were in the writing process for it. I honestly don't know. I just know they're continuing to work on season 7. So, there's that news out of the way. But in other fantastic news, Phineas and Ferb is getting another 40 episodes, which is equivalent to 2 seasons.
Heck yeah.
So over the next 4-ish years, we will be seeing a lot more of Phineas and Ferb, Hamster and Gretel, which is another show that Dan Poppelmeyer is working on, also getting another season.
I never watched that one.
I haven't watched it yet, so I have no idea if it's good or not, but I'm assuming it is. His daughter, his daughter Dan, or what's her name? I don't know. His daughter is one of the main voice actors, which is really cool.
That is cool.
So yeah, looking forward to that. That's all the news I had, unless you guys can think of anything. But those are the two major news things from here. So main discussion time, Johnny. Let's talk Star Wars.
Heck.
So
he's been looking forward to this all day.
I'm looking forward to this since you guys told me about it like last year.
That's
We just
fair.
haven't had the time to do it.
That's right.
yeah, we've been trying to schedule this since last year. But let's start with what's come out with Star Wars recently, and has it been any good?
So the most recent thing that came out with Star Wars, I believe, was the series Andor.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, like, public opinion about the show, like, or at least initial opinion, I don't know if people have changed their minds about it yet, But initial opinion, people didn't really like it all that much. I don't think they thought it was bad TV, but when I watched it, it was really slow. Like, it was a slow burn type of show. It set up things in the first episode of an arc, continued to build on them in the second, and then you got the payoff in the third episode of the arc. That's kind of how the show was set up. It was set up in like 3-episode arcs, and it's basically like, it's like having a movie that's been split up into 3 episodes.
Do you prefer that or not?
Honestly, I don't know if I prefer it, but I really liked it. It's one of the ways that I've heard it described by certain like reviewers is like, it doesn't treat the audience like dumb kids that enjoy the show. It treats them like they're intelligent and have the patience and attention span to pay attention to these things and to enjoy it.
Which is a vital... that comes vitally important for any show these days. A lot of shows just like to spell it out for you and don't give the audience a credit.
Yeah. I know Kayla really likes the sequels. I felt like the sequels did that. They did not. I don't like the sequels.
They were good!
Listen, movies 1 through 6, they're good. You start getting to 7, 8, and 9.
Well, movies 1 through 3 are good because of how bad they are.
Put a shotgun to my face and shoot me. Like, those are perfect examples of franchises gone wrong.
It's not even that they're bad Star Wars movies. They are bad Star Wars movies, but they're also just bad movies.
They're just bad.
I don't agree with you at all.
I liked them.
I'm talking about 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I liked
Did
them.
you like 7, 8, and 9?
She likes 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, boy.
Did
Okay.
you not make that connection?
No, I thought you were talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, she's
I
talking
love
about the
those
sequels.
movies.
Okay, those are excellent.
Yeah.
7, 8, and 9 don't even hold up from a cinematic standpoint. So,
How not?
story-wise, you can't just pull new rules out of your ass.
What are you talking about?
Force healing.
The force
For one
healing,
thing.
the random, like, you pulled like a Star Wars out of it, or Star Wars. Pulling a Star Wars is what I would call cinematically making up bullshit.
Yeah.
Pulling a lightsaber out of his back using the force, like Rey, I think, like, passed it to him through the force.
Yeah, that's
but, like,
a new thing.
not-
It's like a new force power that they showed in that
It's like-
with the bond they had, they could pass physical items to each other.
Hey, we have that in Star Wars D&D with Cordelia and Harrison.
Yeah, because Star Wars D&D is different. We can literally do whatever we want. It's creative. It's nothing.
Star Wars D&D is way different. It's not headcanon to Star Wars.
The campaign that we're playing in that you joined and you're having fun with is a power fantasy.
Yes.
That's what we're playing. We get to do whatever we want.
Anyway, and I think you're hard pressed to find. I think Kayla, you're in the minority.
I'm very much the minority.
Yeah.
But even like huge Star Wars fans were like, "Gosh, those movies were just kind of bullshit."
I'm hoping. You mentioned how hard it is to like sit down and binge and marathon something and set aside time for that. Me and Kayla are trying to do that with the entirety of the Star Wars franchise,
which
in like timeline order.
In timeline order.
Yeah.
But you got.
Chronologically.
That's hard though because you got Clone Wars, which is
No.
seven
I did some
seasons.
research.
She to her credit. Yep, to her
I
credit,
did
she did
some-
research and came up with a whole
I
timeline
did
list.
my research.
She came up with a whole timeline list on her own.
I'm going to show you this.
So does that mean you're breaking up the seasons of
Clone Wars? No.
Clone Wars?
Nope.
No.
No,
Okay.
we're watching them in like series timeline. Yeah.
Star Wars Vision will get up to the bottom.
Yeah.
But that is everything Star Wars related chronologically.
Star Wars Visions.
It's not canon. It's
Not
I
canon,
enjoyed
right?
it though.
It's going to be, we're going to put it at the end.
What Star Wars Visions was this is old news right now. It doesn't really need to be on the podcast, but what it was Star Wars and Disney giving up the license, handing it over to some anime studios and saying, "Here you go, have fun with this, see what you can do."
Yeah.
And what came out was, for the most part, amazing.
Yeah, no, I think it was interesting. It doesn't have to be, and not everything has to be headcanon. And that was something specifically where, like, this isn't headcanon. We're just going to see what other people do with our
Our label, our brand.
Exactly. And it was a really interesting concept. And I think Star Wars has built enough of a repertoire to be able to do that. Though I think Star Wars, like Marvel, has had a lot of people pushing against them recently.
I have not seen very many Marvel movies.
not since Endgame. Most of the stuff since Endgame has been considered very bad.
Spider-Man No Way Home, that was really good.
That was really good. That was an exception.
That's
that was
like...
also Sony, not Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Marvel characters,
Marvel characters,
universe.
but Sony was in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not have seen that before I've seen the first 2 Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland.
Yeah, she's behind on Marvel. I haven't
seen the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. I've seen all the ones after that. I just haven't watched it. I don't remember what it's called. I just know Iron Man comes in and like saves his ass.
Iron Man's in it. I'm pretty sure the first villain for Tom Holland's Spider-Man is Vulture, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Zendaya.
Yes, and Zendaya shows up at the end.
I like Zendaya.
Tom Holland
She's
and
an actress.
Zendaya are engaged.
I know!
Are they?
Yes!
I did not hear about this.
I haven't been following it, but I see it decently on TikTok, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Zendaya has her own, like, follower of simps.
Well, Zendaya is an attractive woman. An attractive woman who is a celebrity is going to have
Pretty much any attractive woman on the internet gets a following of simps.
I think she's attractive, but...
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who actually disagree.
I'm not going to yell at you for that.
Yeah, I know. I know you're not. At me? Because I know you're not.
Can you tell we're dating?
What?
You said I can have boyfriends. You haven't said that I can compliment other women.
If the woman is attractive, by all means. However, that does not give you any... That does not give you any permission to go and date them.
Wait.
What?
I'm gonna shut up.
No. Say what you're gonna say, Jonah. Say what you're gonna say.
Back to.
No. Say what you're gonna say.
I don't even remember.
Dude.
Back to Star Wars.
Back to Star Wars.
Andor, mixed reviews. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, I watched it. It was alright. I didn't love it.
Neither did I, really.
It was... I don't know.
I
think the people who hated it, I don't think necessarily have really grounds to hate it, because it wasn't like it was a low quality show.
It wasn't bad, and it definitely wasn't like sequel bad.
Right.
Sorry, Kayla, we're gonna keep doing that.
Every time we say the sequels are bad, Kayla's face just like
drops
right at Johnny.
Drops in death stares.
She doesn't even stare at me for saying it's bad. She just stares at Johnny. She's upset.
But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't that bad. Or Kenobi, I guess is the name of the show. It's just, it dropped the ball in a lot of areas that we were hoping for. And the main antagonist, like besides Darth Vader, the Inquisitor, the antagonist, could have been a lot better, I think, and could have been done a bit differently. I'm saying this from the perspective of just a fan, not that I would know how to write her better. But
right.
Ziza needs to be.
I'm kidding.
Ziza's his character
in
the DnD world.
I don't know if what's going on specifically with Hollywood or whatever. I feel like content from the past. If you look at how do I say this? Content, if you look at, like, I don't know, It's a Wonderful Life, or, like, all these movies made in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even 2000s.
They're still classics.
Still classics. People love them. People, like, worshipped Hollywood at this point. But all of a sudden, like, from 2010 to now, there was, like, this snap of... I don't know if we're becoming, like, more of a sophisticated audience, or if Hollywood is... I don't know. I don't know specifically what's happening, but there seems to be more discontent with the way media is made now, and I think that's very evident in Star Wars, Marvel, and what's the other really popular series that people... Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
I think those are 3 areas where we see a lot of discontent with fans from the Hollywood takes on those.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Obi-Wan, Andor... what else has Marvel got coming, or that has come out that you've seen that was worth it?
I haven't watched a lot of the new Marvel stuff. Like there's the new Black Panther movie, which I have yet to see. I think, Kayla, have you seen it?
Not the new one, no.
No? Alright. So
that was okay.
Yeah, don't have any comments about that from me yet.
I still think with Marvel, they should stick to movies. TV shows, they try to make it like this link so like WandaVision was a link from Endgame to her movie Multiverse of Madness.
I actually thought
WandaVision was that link.
Interesting. I personally thought WandaVision was pretty
No, I'm not saying that was bad. That it was bad. I just think it wasn't as strong as Multiverse of Madness. I think Multiverse of Madness was an excellent movie. I just don't think WandaVision was as strong of a series. That being said, Moon Knight, I thought it was alright. I just feel like Marvel is being very mid with their TV series right now, where their movies are still pretty okay, though I don't think Marvel's what it used to be.
Some of the series that they do, I end up watching more. I watch them less for like writing and story and characters, and more for like the action sequences sometimes. Because some of them, that's just kind of how it turns out. Others, I do think end up being written pretty well and turning out really good. What else happened lately? Oh, the new Avatar movie. This is sorry, complete change in like
Let's
thing,
switch
but
genres. That's fine. Did you enjoy it?
I did actually. First one
Way
I
of
thought
Water,
was absolutely Way of Water. I definitely thought the first one was better, but that's just like that could just be personal preference. But yeah, Way of Water I thought was pretty good. It took a different like plot line approach. Like, have you guys seen it or have you not seen it yet?
No.
I have a hot take about Avatar.
Avatar is one of the Disney movies I have not seen.
I don't think is Avatar Disney. Oh yeah, it is Disney because I literally watched it in Disney.
Not
World.
to be confused with Avatar: The Last Airbender, the series.
No.
This is Avatar.
No, but like Avatar. No, that's like some of the only Disney. Well,
The one with the blue people, for those who don't know.
The blue people.
My hot take about Avatar, and then you can give us your review of Way of Water. My hot take about Avatar, it was just a mid-movie.
The first one, or
the first one? The thing, I know people like love that movie, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it got a lot of hype because it's one of the first movies to do CGIs correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's beloved because of that. That's just what I would say, but continue.
I definitely think that a lot of the love that it got, and a lot of love that I'm giving it, is because of knowing like what went into the movie. Like, even just back then, it's still like one of, if not the highest grossing movies ever.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that it
and all the work that went into it. They literally made their own language for the first one, and all the actors had to learn it. They did all this work in CGI and took the time to get it right. And according to them, that's why the second one took so long, because they wanted to make sure that they got the CGI right again.
And I respect that.
I do respect that. I much prefer that someone would like delay their movie for whatever movie or series for whatever reason if the purpose is to get better quality to the audience.
Well, yeah.
That is how you respect the fans.
I think they've been working on the second one since the first one came out.
Oh yeah, they have.
Like they've been grinding at that. So.
Mm-hmm. As for like the actual, like plot or whatever of the thing, it's still a newish thing, so I don't really want to talk spoilers much. But
right.
I think everybody knows that the premise is that Sully has a family now, and this movie is his interactions with his family, them growing, and him protecting his family. So it takes a lot more of it's more of a coming-of-age story and a story for, like, fathers and mothers and siblings.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to discount that I think Avatar does a lot of things right. Mm-hmm. I just think it's overhyped, and it was just an okay movie, in my opinion. But it did CGI absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. And the new one actually does look really beautiful. It reminded me a lot of Subnautica, because Subnautica is the video game that kind of introduced this idea of, yes, you can have a full game that's underwater and still, like, function. Because before, like, games like Subnautica, water was, like, really freaking weird, you know?
Water's hard to do right for games and movies.
Oh, absolutely. And Subnautica somehow figured it out. Mm-hmm. So, it was awesome.
There is one scene in The Way of Water that's, like, it actually got me, like, scared and heart pumping for a minute the first time I watched it.
Was someone drowning? Because that would do me in.
More like big scary monster in the water.
Oh, yay.
Think Reaper Leviathan coming at you.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Reaper Leviathans and
Here comes the Leviathan wanting a hug.
What?
Ignore me.
In Subnautica, the Leviathans don't even scare me anymore because you know the game.
Mm-hmm.
You can get like this big taser gun that freezes them, and if you shoot them, you can just knife them to death.
The stasis rifle.
Yeah, the stasis rifle, and it's just
once you get to a certain point in any games.
I have killed, I think, almost every Leviathan in
your world.
In the world, almost. But
Jonah's
I
out
haven't
there
watched
committing
Subnautica.
genocide.
Yeah, I watched a video once. Now, welcome to the podcast. Where we just like talk about random things, which segment into other things, which quickly segments into other things.
It's beautiful. This is how podcasts go.
I watched a video where, someone was breaking down like, okay, so the ship weighed this. It probably had this much fuel in it. If this ship actually did crash on this planet, it would ruin the ecosystem, and here's why. And then I watched another video, obviously led me down a YouTube rabbit hole, where it was like, okay, most of you guys take your stasis rifles and you kill the Reaper Leviathans, or whatever the Leviathans are. That would also kill the ecosystem. Here is why. It was just really interesting. I forget the argument because it was a while ago, but essentially, like, in the food chain, if you take away one of the sections of the food chain, everything has to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taking out the big guy who eats a lot of the small fish to prevent overpopulation and eats this and that to prevent overpopulation, right? Mm-hmm. The ecosystem will either, one, be overrun with a certain type of fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like
some other predator will
rise up and take its place. Yeah, it was just really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Subnautica obviously doesn't have the time to be like, congratulations, your thing landed on this planet and you killed the planet. That's not the point of the game. Though I'm sure
the planet's already dying, honestly, when you get there.
Yeah, because it's the virus that is like infecting things, and it
was a quarantine planet. That's right. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and you have to find the mother Leviathan or something.
COVID all over again.
Yeah, movies. You know, in like zombie movies, like gas is like $10 a gallon. Well, that's California's life right now. So,
yeah, we don't need
funny.
gas to be.
Anyway,
it's going up and up and up.
Just like the views on this video, make sure you hit the like button.
Wow, Jonah.
Jonah, I don't think it's a good idea to start lying to your audience.
Technical difficulties.
We're having problems here. Oh my gosh.
Jonah has
My
died
channel
and
has
passed
just
away.
gone up in flames. I lit the
died.
match, Johnny had the gasoline. Alright.
And I'm just a bystander over here.
Yeah, you're just the bystander that thinks that somebody else is going to call 911.
Exactly.
You're that Karen, okay.
Wow, okay.
You know my aunt's actual name is Karen?
Yeah,
so that meme hurts sometimes.
That meme hurts
I'm just like,
sometimes,
oh
yeah.
no.
I will be back. I need to go.
Jonah, random topic change. How much do you know about D&D? Or how much do you
Yeah, this is another thing I wanted to talk to you about because I know it's something you're really into. I kind of understand the concept there of D&D. I've never done it, but it is something I do want to at least try once or twice in my life. I don't know when I'll do that, but
I do think you would enjoy it, especially as like a filmmaker and a writer, because that's a big part of it is creating stories and characters. And yeah, so it's a game, and some people can play it like a game. Like, but my group that I played on Wednesday with, the person that runs that game plays it like it's a game. Like there's a purpose, there's a goal, there's objectives to find.
It's definitely a story aspect to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what entices me about it. I'm also Souls games are kind of very similar in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have a very deep, complex story. You role play as the hero, yada yada. Obviously, it's different, but like the same general like stem of concept.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely something I'm into, and your group does like a Star Wars kind of thing. So
on Sunday,
yeah,
we
tell
had
us
the
about
Star
that
Wars
a little bit.
So that was, I believe it was all started with one guy like years ago. he just looked at D&D and looked at Star Wars and his 2 favorite things. He's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to make something to do with both of these. And thus, Star Wars 5e was born. And kind of the reason that I brought this up was because of some recent events. If anybody who watches your show does D&D, they probably know. D&D has this thing called the OGL, which is the Open Games License. And it basically allows people on the internet and content creators to take the rules from D&D and just make whatever they want using those rules. And publish it, and they can sell it to make money, they can make a living off of that, and a lot of people do. Wizards of the Coast, the company that owns D&D and runs it and does all the updates and stuff lately, tried to change the OGL to take all of that away. They wanted to take away people's ability to make that content, to make money off of that content, off of their system, and they also wanted to knock out competition so that they could basically lock down the market. With this, they were trying to make a monopoly and just take everything away.
Right.
The community, the D&D community, hated this idea so much, and it was beautiful to see everybody banded together all at once. Subscriptions to D&D Beyond were canceled en masse. Everybody left. And over the past several weeks, it's just been a fight with Wizards of the Coast. And just yesterday, after a bunch of lies and misdirections and manipulations from Wizards of the Coast, they gave up. Yesterday, they just gave up and said, all right, fine, we won't touch this. We've lost more money trying to change this than we would ever stand to make if it went through.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, they lost, obviously, or they gave up.
Yep.
If they had pursued, do you think they would have won?
It's hard to say, because even if they had succeeded with the OGL and changing all of that, what would have mostly sucked is that a lot of people would have lost their livelihood, because there's people on YouTube and on TikTok and all kinds of things that make their living off as creators, and basically what I think would have happened is everybody would have just left Wizards of the Coast. They would have dropped them high and dry, gone to different systems like Pathfinder. Paizo is another company that was making a new thing in response to this. And what I think would have happened is some people would have stayed that don't really know any other systems or any other way to do this type of thing, or that can't change. But a lot of people would have just dropped Wizards of the Coast and D&D, which would have been a shame.
Well, D&D is definitely resurged, I think definitely amongst our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was our parents' age-ish that played it in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were flamed for it. It was, of Satan, blah, 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 whatever.
Yep.
But it's researched amongst our generation now, and it's even more interesting because there's people who do D&D campaigns that, becomes a show, for example. That was one example. People, as you mentioned, do it on YouTube, and people watch it, and it's entertaining, So we're seeing this resurgence of D&D, but also seeing it kind of flow into our normal cultural things, like internet, video games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, it's... D&D is definitely, I think, more people have definitely heard of it now than probably haven't heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I just think that's really interesting.
Yeah, what you mentioned, Critical Role has been doing it for a long time, for several years now, where they've been playing their games on a stream and doing a show like that. And now they have a TV show on Amazon Prime.
Exactly.
And they're all voice actors getting together to play D&D, so they're all voice acting their characters in that show.
Mm-hmm. Which is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. I watched the first season, and the second season of it just came out. It is actually really well made.
What's it called?
It's called The Legend of Vox Machina, which is the name of their that D&D group. For their I think that was their first game of D&D.
Yeah, I think so too. And it it became a show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really violent, I think, right? It's violent.
Oh yeah, very violent, very crass.
They swear. Well, that doesn't bother me. I've watched The Boys, which is something me and Ross will talk about.
Wait, it's not really as bad as The Boys.
No,
if I had to compare it to anything, I'd compare it to Invincible.
That's also some on my list. I've been told is really, really good.
It is good. Second season actually, they said second season is slated to come out late 2023. If we want to go back to Star Wars, the new stuff for that is coming out soon. The new season of Mandalorian is the trailer's come out, so that's going to come out late.
Yeah, are you excited for that?
I am super excited because the Mandalorian I thought was amazing.
I think that's the only show that I think is still highly talked about, as like regarded as probably the best thing they've created in a while. I don't know. And I agree. I think it's really good.
I always laugh about this because Boba Fett is another series that was out a little while ago. People thought it was okay. Some people hated it. Some people thought it was meh. Some people thought it was decent. I thought it was pretty meh. I would have liked to see a different side of Boba. I don't necessarily like how they ran him in this one. But I always laugh because literally the best episodes of this Boba Fett series are the ones where he's not there and it's just the Mandalorian.
Yep. Nope. I was going to bring that up too. I think the only reason Boba Fett is only still talked about is because the Mandalorian was in it. And it was that little link from between season 2 and season 3 of the Mandalorian. Yeah. And I listened to podcasts about people entertained in the entertainment with stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, it's sad that the Mandalorian that Boba Fett is only talked about because of the Mandalorian, but it shows that the Mandalorian is probably the most popular thing Star Wars has done in the past little while. So yeah, no, I'm excited for Mandalorian season 3. When does that come out?
I would assume also late 2023. I can look it up if they have a release date.
I would assume that they've done a lot of filming and stuff for that yet. So I would hope that they are getting close to done with that stuff.
Filming began by October 2021 and wrapped in late March 2022. The 8-episode season is scheduled to premiere on March 1st, 2023. So that's pretty soon, actually.
March 1st? That's like 3 months away, 2 months away?
That's pretty soon.
That's 2 months away.
Oh, and a 4th season is in development.
Well, of course it is.
Of course it is.
It's the only thing that I think...
If they can keep up the writing from, the first bit that they did, then I'm excited.
It's true. Yeah, they've done some good stuff.
There was one moment in The Mandalorian. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'm pretty sure it was one of the, either early episodes or middle episodes of the first season, where it's a silent scene. There are no lines, and it's just the Mandalorian sitting in his ship about to take off and leave. I'm pretty sure it's after he turned in the bounty for Baby Yoda. Or Grogu, if you really want to call him Grogu.
Nobody calls him that.
Nobody really calls him that. But he's just sitting there silent. There's no lines in the scene. And he looks over at a little lever that Baby Yoda was playing with while he was with him. And just the way that they were able to actually convey so much emotion and thought with a guy with no face and no lines was beautiful.
Well, yeah, he's an interesting character because he has none of the... You can't really see his face. You've seen his face.
Now, at this point, we've seen his face.
Season 1 already, they revealed that. But, yeah, the emotion that I think that's a lot on the actor. I don't remember his name, but he's good.
Yeah, what's your perspective on that as someone who wants to get into filmmaking?
Of not showing the emotion?
All of it, yeah. Or
you have to find a way to convey emotion without facial features, because the way humans work is whenever there's a face on the screen, people will be looking at that face, just because people want to connect with the characters on the screen. And the way that you do that is looking at their face and reading their emotions. So, there's plenty of scientific studies about people eye tracking people in theater. And, 95% of the time, people's face... that's a fake statistic, but most of the time, people's faces, or people's eyes are looking at other people's faces. And that's where a majority of the eyes in the theater will be. But with The Mandalorian, it's interesting because you can't see his emotion. You can't. The
Most
only
of the
way
time.
you can really tell what he's doing or how he's feeling is his body posture, or what he doesn't say, or what he's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only ways you can really convey what he's thinking or doing. And that's definitely by design. That's the way his character is meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something filmmaking doesn't do as much. Obviously, there's the show don't tell kind of mentality in film, which is where you get things like what we talked about, like trusting your audience, show them, don't tell them. And The Mandalorian definitely has the strong suit of it, is it trusts the audience to understand what Mando is feeling at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do absolutely think that's plays to the strength of the show for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about the show is that it has the cameos from old characters and old beloved characters that come in, and you see them on the screen, and internally you cheer and you see them and you get happy. It doesn't use them as a crutch, though. It's got its own set of characters. It's got its own new characters, like Mandalorian himself, Baby Yoda. What's his face? The guy that gives him the jobs. I don't even remember the actor's name, but him.
Yep.
The character that was played by Ronda Rousey, which that was unfortunately its whole own thing that she's no longer going to be in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these great new characters that got introduced.
Gina Carano.
Was that? I thought it was Ronda Rousey. Am I dumb?
Well, Gina Carano also
Yes.
is not.
Yes, thank you, Kayla. I know.
Gina Carano
Love
also
you.
got canceled, and she doesn't work for Disney anymore. She's not in contract.
Oh, boy.
So we could be totally talking about two different people, but they're both probably
Both probably
happens.
canceled for similar things, but yeah. But yeah, they had their own characters and that were well written, that were interesting, and that grabbed the audience's attention. They didn't rely on like already established stuff. They had the creativity.
Star Wars does this bit constantly where stormtroopers can't shoot.
That
That is the one bit that I
Or
think
if
Star
they
Wars.
can, they constantly miss.
Yeah, exactly. They can't shoot. They can't
can't shoot straight.
They can't shoot straight. And that's the one bit I think that Star Wars should just never drop, simply because it's just part of
funny
their
and it's
character
classic.
now,
It's it now.
Do you have
They played it.
do you have opinions on
I
it?
forget. Did you say you've seen The Mandalorian?
I have.
Yeah, that one scene where they literally
They
the
couldn't.
scout troopers couldn't hit the can.
They spent like 1 minute on that whole bit.
It
And
was
I'm like,
great.
They're dedicated
It
to
was
it.
great.
They're dedicated to it. It
Oh,
was phenomenal.
Okay, I don't know if you know this fact. So, one of the scenes near the end, like the climax of the first season of Mandalorian, or whatever it was, where they're holed up in a cantina, and everybody is like the Imperial Army is surrounding them and about to charge in and take them out. All of the stormtroopers there, they didn't have enough prop armor to like help their like costume their own extras and have enough people. So they contacted the 501st Legion, which is like this charity organization that dresses up as Star Wars characters. They have their own professional grade costumes.
No way.
Yes. So they called up the fans in the 501st Legion to come be in the show. Most of the stormtroopers in that end scene, that climax, were fans in their own costumes.
Because wait, go back. Why couldn't they just didn't have enough actors?
They
What?
didn't have enough. They didn't have enough extras, and they didn't have enough costumes. They didn't have enough
just called
stormtrooper
up
armor.
The fans are
They
like,
called up the fans. Were like,
save our butts here.
yeah, come be in the show.
That is.
It was amazing.
I was gonna say that's probably just like the
Johnny,
best
imagine
moment
if
of
you
their
were,
lives, right
Oh,
there.
yeah,
You-
absolutely.
That's the pinnacle of their life, right there.
Absolutely.
You
Imagine
can't
if
beat
you were
that.
in a
If I was in that, I would have been the happiest man alive. I would die a happy man.
That's awesome.
Sorry, we wouldn't get to our wedding, but I'd still be happy.
Excuse you!
Sorry, our wedding would be second. after
Best
that.
moment of my life. Nothing down there.
Hands down.
I see where I rate now. I see where I rate in his life. Star Wars comes before everything.
It goes Star Wars, Jesus Christ, and Kayla.
Sounds about right.
Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Lifecast. Good grief.
That was fun.
You see now my whole process for podcasting. We're gonna start on this topic. We're probably not gonna stay on this topic, but guess what? We always end up back at that topic we originally wanted to talk about. So that was a perfect example.
Wait, did you guys talk about Phineas and Ferb?
Not extensively.
No, not really. After you left, we talked about
The lore for Phineas and Ferb is
fairly simple.
It's fairly simple.
It's literally
What? It's like they do the same thing every day.
Yeah, Phineas and
They
Ferb
make
is literally
something, Candace tries to bust them, and it doesn't work because the mom never sees it.
literally a kids show, but
Yet somehow it's
a bop.
Somehow it is the greatest thing to grace Disney.
Squirrels my pants.
It's got better music than most modern musicians.
Right? They write such bops.
Dan Povenmire.
Gitchy Gitchy Goo. My goodness.
Means I love you.
Let me get me copyright strike. Dan, please don't strike me.
I mean, you might have to do that for the clip she played from Princess Bride, too.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. But yeah, Johnny and Kayla, thanks for joining me. Pleasure
Thanks
as
for
always.
having us.
I just jumped in at the last minute.
Yeah, you
Check
weren't even
out-
supposed to be here.
Thanks, Johnny.
Women are supposed to be in the kitchen. All right.
And on that note...
Doesn't never makes another podcast episode.
You should have heard me at the beginning. I don't remember what I said, but it was cancel worthy.
Welcome at the end of the episode to our fourth special guest, Andrew.
Welcome back.
Hi,
cancel
Andrew
culture.
Tate.
This is not Andrew Tate. we
I've
promise.
never had Andrew Tate on the podcast. I swear to
And you
God.
never will.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Check out the description, everybody, for, I don't know, whatever you need to know about anything.
Jonah, you should know what's in the description.
The description, yeah, there's
To be determined.
there's a description of the podcast, and then there's a link to several other channels or Instagram, stuff like that. So go follow the Instagram. What else is in the description? I actually don't know. The YouTube has this wonderful feature where you can just put it, and it leaves it there for every video. So I don't even have to look at it. I just type a little quick summary of the video, and then
There's
it goes
there's
off.
probably so many typos.
Yeah, it's actually a running joke on my Siege videos that I will donate $1 to every person who comments a mistake on our Siege videos. So if you watch our Siege videos and
Dang
notice a
it,
spelling
why
mistake,
haven't I been doing
and then
this?
you text me a picture of that spelling mistake, I will give you $1. Not actually, but I will give you a hypothetical $1.
No. Now you owe me $1 if I catch a mistake.
You don't watch my Siege videos,
That's
so.
fair. Whoops.
We're capping out the mic.
That's very common. So thank you guys for listening. Check out all the description, the links in the description or whatever. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. See you next time.
Bye-bye.